Hi, I'm Moie, and my intro doesn't really apply anymore, so I'm basically just going to say it's not a memoir, so please do not worry. I can't think about the time before all the screaming started. It's been 3 years since then, but it still haunts me. Dad and Mother had argued, and Kai, my little brother, had tried to stop it. Of course, I was already 11 then, old enough to know that once it started, nothing could stop it. Kai, I had mumbled, hesitantly, don't. But the momentary protectiveness vanished as he turned around and grinned, his blue blanket dragging behind him. Don't tell me what to do, I can do anything, he had shouted. He threw the blanket in my face, and it landed silently on my head. He had gone crying to my mother, hiding behind her wide skirt, playing with her hair, trying to get her to smile through her glaring eyes. Dad and Mother were both drunk, clambering over and kicking shattered beer bottles. My mother was scared. She was shaking and threw herself into the closet, shutting the door. Yet Kai followed her in to stop the conflict. Nobody but my mother knows what really happened in there. My dad was looking for her, banging on every door, while I escaped to my bed. Kai started crying. Just as I started to get up off my bed to quiet him, the crying abruptly stopped. Eventually, the fighting ceased. It had been a while since when my mother stepped out of the closet, holding Kai against her chest, tears streaming down her cheeks. Be quiet and get me his blanket, she said. He's sleeping. From then on, I was always told that he had gone to a prestigious boarding school, the Delphian Academy in Oregon. I guess some part of me had been somehow suspicious, so I looked the school up online. The school's website only heightened my jealousy. He was the talented one. I was the one who had to be enrolled and re-enrolled in various public schools. I was the one who wouldn't do as I was told, wouldn't clean the dishes, wouldn't do the laundry. I was the bad influence, a piece of burnt charcoal tossed in with the whites, staining everything. The day I ended up walking the trail, I'd stormed off into the woods after a smack on the head from my mother. The trail's dying grass held faint footprints I'd never seen before. Curious, I followed them until I reached a moss-laden stone slab, hidden between overgrown bushes. I remember the faint smile that reached my lips as my hand swept over the small stone. My fingertips traced the etched letters. A strange sense of excitement pulsed through me, and I roughly brushed dirt off the stone and pulled away clumps of moss. As moss and dirt cascaded down, the letters began to reveal themselves. The first thing I read was the epitaph, a simple statement of, "I'm sorry." What was this? I smiled, content with the fact that I had a dark secret, something nobody else knew, something nobody else could steal. My brow furrowed as I tried to decipher the rest of the text etched on the cheaply made, granite-like material. The edges of the tombstone had begun to crumble. The last name, Taylor, gradually became apparent. This was getting creepy. The shadows shifted as the dark clouds hid the sun away. Had I found the long-forgotten grave of some distant ancestor? I looked around for the first time and found a shade of weathered baby blue poking up out of the ground. There was a hand-sewn key on the corner of the fabric, just as there had been on Kai's old comfort blanket. That was when I believed. I believed that if I pulled on the faded triangle of blue sticking up out of the ground, the gravestone would tumble, the dirt would be displaced, and I would find the dried bones of my brother, shrouded by milk-white powder that used to be him. Thank you.